A new era for the Gopher men's hockey team as the university introduced its new head coach. Brett Larson made his debut on Tuesday, joining a hockey program in the middle of a big overhaul. Larson's hiring might have some Gopher fans feeling a little bit of deja vu. He spent the last 8 seasons as the head coach at St. Cloud State, replacing now former Minnesota head coach Bob Motzko when he left the Huskies for the U. Larson guided the Huskies to 4 NCAA tournament appearances in the last 8 seasons, including a national runner-up finish in 2021. Larson served as an assistant to his alma mater, Minnesota Duluth, on their national championship teams in 2011 and 2018. He is thrilled for this opportunity to start recruiting immediately in Dinkytown.
Recruiting's critical. I'm a big believer in it. We all are. I know the staff in the room is as well. You've got some of the best recruiters in the world sitting back here, and it's the lifeline of the program. It's got to be a team effort. The head coach has to be very involved. So for me, it's going to be the priority #1 here, starting a few minutes ago.
Go Gophers! Larson is now tasked with trying to guide the Gophers to their first national championship since 2003. And as we are talking about the Ghosts, we have to talk about the Gopher women's basketball team. They are getting ready for the Sweet 16 on Friday, and there's one fan that has been riding with this program for decades. Fans know her as Peps, the blanket lady, maybe to some, but her connection runs deeper than just being a fan on game day.
And look at your sweatshirt. Yeah.
Long before women's basketball had a spotlight, she was helping light it.
She's a big deal, and she's super duper supportive. I always see her at her games.
When Alvera Peps Newman isn't cheering on her alma mater, Eden Valley, she is driving 60 miles to watch every home Gopher women's basketball game.
When I was running, my ears started hurting, and boy, then I could run so much faster.
A courtside constant since 2004. Running with maroon, gold, and basketball history in hand.
How did you get the nickname Peps?
Well, back in the 60s, I had a lot of pep, and I drank a lot of Pepsi because I don't drink water, so I drank a lot of Pepsi.
Maybe that keeps her hydrated. But her passion is what fuels her.
Sports is my life. It has been my life my 81 years.
A graduate of 1962, the court was off limits to women, but it didn't stop Peps.
Yeah, really good.
Current coach of the Eden Valley girls team, Tom Jansen's dad, graduated with Peps.
She was one of those people that could play with the boys, and she was one of the first ones picked on the teams all the time. She was that good.
She became a Texas cowgirl, barnstorming across the country, taking on men's teams and beating expectations along the way.
It wasn't just basketball. It had to be showmanship. I was part comedian and part this, and then, of course, when I got my own team, well, then I was coach, driver, player, all this, but I didn't know any better, and I loved it.
Shortly after Title IX passed in 1972, Barnstormer demand dwindled. The player turned coach put her focus into cheering on the next generation.
What she did with her career and have that much passion for it and couldn't play.
Perhaps when you look around, this gym has your name on it, and this is a gym in a high school where you never technically were allowed to play.
Right.
How does it feel to be back here and to know this legacy?
Well, I almost, when I talk about it, I can almost get a little bit of tears in my eyes thinking, I never dreamed they would be in commercials, have their own TV stations, have their own games on TV. You know, just like I can't believe what's happened to my life.
She shares her gifts after receiving them from others, like the blanket one fan gave her friend Vicky to keep her warm at the game.
And they gave her the blanket, so I said, hey, look at. And the people started applauding, so I ran.
For decades, Peps has gotten her steps in on the sidelines.
Finally, somebody come up and told me, said, well, you know, the band just loves you. I said, well, they do? Yeah, they call you the blanket lady.
Sometimes the biggest legacies aren't retired numbers.
I'm sure they want to retire the blanket. Would I give it up?
They're familiar faces. She really is such a joy. So easy to talk to, so easy to do that story on. I do have to make sure that we clarify it again. That blanket belongs to her friend Vicky. Vicky lets her run with it every game. I did ask Peps what she thinks makes this Gopher team so special, and she said them sticking together. There are a lot of seniors that stayed 4 years when they didn't have to, and she thinks it really has factored into their play. She hopes that more Minnesota players will stay in state and go to our colleges here because it's something that she would have done if she had the chance. Thanks, Peps, for that great story. Well, now for some big news if you are a fan of local meat raffles like myself. There could be some big changes coming. We're just giving you a warning right now. State lawmakers are debating whether to allow ticket prices to jump from $2 to $5. It's just one of the changes that is being proposed at the Capitol. We sent our Gordon Severson to figure out what's going on.
Meat raffle right here, come on, let's go, baby.
Few things are more Minnesotan than the weekly meat raffle. Every Tuesday during the noon lunch hour, a crowd gathers at Broadway Pizza in Coon Rapids.
Good luck.
With everyone hoping to win a package of fresh meat.
Lucky number 14.
It's a way to get people into the bar.
But lately, Bob Adams with the Coon Rapids Matt Bandit Wrestling Club says the meat packs are smaller than they used to be.
Usually if you have a meat raffle, you want to have 2 steaks instead of 1. But sometimes 1 steak might cost $25.
Adams says the money they make supports the local wrestling team and other sports teams in town. Though lately, he says there is less money left over after buying the meat and paying staff to run the raffle.
It's not always profitable for the organizations.
In business, that's when companies usually increase their prices. But when it comes to meat raffles, there are strict limits that have been in place since the 1980s.
We're looking to modernize the meat raffle limits.
Rachel Jenner with Allied Charities says a new bill at the state capitol would increase those limits. Right now, charities can charge up to $2 for a meat raffle ticket. The bill would increase that to $5. And for the meat itself, the bill would increase the prize limit from $70 per round to $200.
This would be a way for them to be able to increase those limits and get prizes that are comparable to what we were doing 10 years ago.
Jenner says charities can still charge $1 or $2 a ticket if they choose to. Whatever they think will draw the biggest crowd.
Not bad at all.
It's really giving them an opportunity to get creative with how they want to play the games and what kind of prizes they want to offer.
Okay, that is such a Minnesota problem. But good to see that they're looking for solutions. The bill still has a way to go, and it has to hit a few more stops before it actually gets to the Senate floor. But the senator who authored the bill says that he is confident that it will go through this session. And advocating for these bills are hoping that these limits will then go into effect as early as this fall. Stick with us. We got more news and more weather to talk about.